Hello, good afternoon. This is News Today. I am Emefa Akosia Adeti. We're coming to you live from our studios here in Kokomlemle, Accra. We're also live on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 125. Coming up this afternoon, maritime inspectors, Ghana Navy joint probe into Kete Krachi Boat Tragedy that claimed 15 lives, including 11 children.
But, I mean, we are drawing from people from the maritime police. I mean, already there's a Navy detachment that is at Kete Krachi that is quite close.
Now, JoyNews is learning the boat was being steered by an 11-year-old.
So only 3 adults who are part. One is 68 years, 48, and 36. The rest are 12, 2 years, 4 years, and 11 years. Even the guy who is even handling the boat is 11 years.
We'll also hear from the MC on the latest developments at the scene as JoyNews research reviews 61 lives lost to boat disasters across Ghana since 2022. And as well in the bulletin, Ghana is set to ban all forms of mining in water bodies and forest reserves as Vice President Professor Nana Jenopo-Kwajiman unveils a sweeping new law aimed at tackling Ghana's growing environmental crisis. Well, meanwhile, the Kwenyako water treatment plant has been partially restored after months of shutdown caused by dangerously high turbidity levels in the river. And in the bulletin, Ghana Health Service, alarmed by the increasing cases of blindness in the country, revealing that about 165,000 Ghanaians have already gone blind due to cataract alone. And later in the bulletin, over 200 health facilities risk closure due to non-compliance. We'll take you live to Kumasi as the health facilities regulatory agency says both public and private health centers risk shutdown. We've got these and more in our 60 minutes package. JoyNews, independent, fearless and credible. Please stay for details. We appreciate your company this afternoon. A team of maritime inspectors and officers of the Ghana Navy have been deployed to assist the police and other authorities to investigate the tragic boat incident in Kete Krachi, which has claimed the life of 15 people, including 11 children. According to the Ghana Maritime Authority, the boat was overloaded and capsized while crossing a section of the Volta Lake. The victims include children aged between 2 and 14 years, along with 4 adults. 4 others survived the disaster, with 1 person still missing. Deputy Director General of the Ghana Maritime Authority, Masawudu Mubarak, explains the scope of the investigation, but calls for a review of the existing laws to give the authority more power to enforce and penalize persons who breach the safety standards.
I mean, we are drawing from people from the maritime police. I mean, already there's a Navy detachment that is at Kete Krachi that is quite close. They already have been deployed and officials from the Ghana Maritime Authority. So at this stage, we don't have the full complement of the team that we require to be able to begin entirely the investigations. But this is what we are learning now. It will interest you to also know that we are a bit handicapped when it comes to the legal backing that we require to be able to make enforcement of some of these provisions. For instance, we are still working on an act of parliament that really would have in it all the regulations for us to really have the power to be able to enforce some of these measures. So as it stands, the only thing really we have a hand on that we can utilize in terms of regulation and law is a provision within the Ghana Shipping Act that talks about load line marking. And I heard the DC talk about it. So the Ghana Maritime Authority officials who are there occasionally would go and inspect boats and mark and indicate the safety limits of loading on the boat so that these operators do not load the boats beyond these limits. But unfortunately, sometimes there's that tendency of people feeling that, oh, we can get away with it this time, and they flout it. So,
meanwhile, OT Regional Director of the National Disaster Management Organization, Foster Jere, revealed that the boat was being controlled by an 11-year-old and explained there is a big challenge with enforcing safety standards, particularly wearing of jackets, which is mostly unavailable.
Life jackets given to the commercial boats. We normally, organization and NADMO normally give life jacket to commercial boats. And the boat that they are using is a private, a boat that they use for fishing. It's not all that big. So you can see that the people who are on board are kids. So only 3 adults who are part. One is 68 years, 48, and 36. The rest are 12, 2 years, 4 years, and 11 years. Even the guy who is even handling the boat is 11 years, madam.
Right. Also joining us is the Krachi DC. We're grateful.
Well, we have data on 61 deaths recorded after boat capsized since 2022. We'll get into that shortly, but thankfully, we've been joined on phone by Prosper Ado. He's MC for Krachi West. Thank you for joining us this afternoon, Mr. Ado. First of all, one more person is said to be missing. Has that person been identified and at least body retrieved? And what has happened to the others who have been reconfirmed yet?
Yes, thank you very much for having me. As far as I am concerned, all the bodies have retrieved.
Okay, and this retrieval still amounts to 15, or does it increase the number of persons?
No, the actual people on board the boat were 24. And now 24 have 8 that 5.
If you could please position yourself also, we could hear you. So the actual number of persons on the boat, 24.
Currently,
We'll try again, Mr. Ado.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you. It's quite clear.
Yeah, I'm currently in France, so that's why it's
Okay, okay. So you were saying that the total number of persons on board, 24. Did I lose Mr. Ado? Unfortunately, we did. We'll try and reconnect with him a bit later to see if we can get more details as to how many persons actually were on board. He says 24, at least one person one dead body which we're not finding. At least we've been able to find the body and it's been recorded as well, but we'll get into that. But away from that, I'll take you to another health matter. Now, the Ghana Health Service has expressed concerns over the rising cases of blindness across the country, describing the situation as alarming. According to the service, about 165,000 Ghanaians have already gone blind due to cataract, making it the leading cause of blindness nationwide. Glaucoma and diabetic-related eye diseases are also significantly contributing to blindness in Ghana, according to accounting for nearly all cases of visual loss in the country. The alarming situation was revealed by head of the National Eye Care Unit at the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Honameto Afeke, as part of activities marking World Sight Day. And she joins us via phone to get more understanding about whether or not you watching me today is probably blind or not. Dr. Afeke, thank you for joining us this afternoon. How serious is the current blindness situation in Ghana?
Thank you, and good afternoon to charity listeners. Yes, so currently, the blindness prevalence in the country is about 0.74%. That translates to over 250,000 Ghanaians who are blind. And out of this, about half of them is as a result of cataract, which is an opacity of the light in the eye. And the rest of the causes are the glaucoma, which is almost 20%. And then we have posterior segment disease, which includes diabetic retinopathy, which also accounts for almost 13% of the total blindness. And then we have corneal, which also accounts for about 11.2%. And for the corneal opacities, what is needed is what we need is the legislation on the organ and tissue donation and transplantation. For these patients who need corneal transplant. So this is what I can say for now.
Well, Dr. Afake, tell me, for cataract alone, would you say that it has been one of the leading causes over the years, or you're seeing quite a surge or an increase this year particularly?
No, I think globally it's one of the leading causes in the low and middle income countries. So it's always been the number one cause. Basically because the major risk factor is aging. So those above 50 years who are likely to develop cataract. So it's a global issue, and Ghana it's also the number one cause of blindness. And currently we have over 160,000 people who are have the condition.
I heard you earlier try to break the data down, but glaucoma and diabetes-related eye diseases, how much do they play in this blindness burden for us as a country? How much role do they play?
Yes, so the number one, as I said, is cataract. Then the second, the leading cause of blindness in this country is glaucoma. It's glaucoma. That's the second leading cause of blindness. So we have, it's about 19.4% of the total blind. So 94% of 20% of the 250,000 people. So we have almost 60,000 people who are blind as a result of glaucoma. And glaucoma, I need to stress that unlike cataract solution is we have a solution which is surgery, perform surgery, and vision is restored. But glaucoma, it's the number one cause of irreversible blindness. Irreversible blindness. So when you go blind as a result of glaucoma, there's nothing we can do. That is why we, creating the awareness for people to, go to visit the eye facilities for screening, especially if you have a family history of glaucoma. It's very important that you are diagnosed early and then treatment is started. Usually has to do with pressure on the eye. So either use the drops or a surgery is performed to reduce the pressure on the eye so that you don't go blind. So we need to ensure that people have an understanding that glaucoma is quite a very serious condition.
Well, Doc, at least it's the second. Back to the first one, which I've just said that is quite treatable, and maybe before I let you go, why is it still prevalent if at least it's largely treatable? Why aren't people coming to the facilities?
Yes, so there are barriers to the uptake of surgery. One is the lack of access. We have because this surgery, so it has to be performed by ophthalmologists, the surgeon. And unfortunately, some of the regions we don't have the ophthalmologists there, even though we are making effort to train more of our surgeons so that they can be posted there. But currently, we have quite a number of them, especially the newly created regions where we don't have ophthalmologists. And the another barrier is the distance, and then we have issue with a lack of awareness. Some of the people are not don't know that their condition can be treated, and they attribute it to all kinds of causes. So that is why we are also creating the awareness that that people should know that if you have cataract, you can be treated. And at our national level, we have a national cataract outreach program. Where we provide outreach services, surgical outreach services, to the deprived or underserved districts. So we send a team of surgeons and nurses to go there and then perform. Usually it's a 1 week period. They go there to perform surgery, the cataract surgery, for those who cannot travel to the big cities, and they receive it. But that is not enough. We still have a lot of areas to be covered, and financing is also another issue challenge.
Right.
We need to get our facilities well equipped with them operating microscopes so that when we post the surgeries there, they can, perform the surgery. Quite understandable. Dr. Feke, thank you so much for joining us on the news today. He is with the Ghana Health Service. But away from that, I still stay on some health stories. The Minister of Health, Kwabena Mintah Kando, says government will clear all outstanding salary arrears owed to nurses and midwives by November 2025, speaking at a press briefing in Accra, amid growing agitation from nurse unions across the country, the minister revealed that Cabinet has granted approval for the Finance Ministry to release funds to settle the debt. According to him, about 7,000 nurses have already started receiving their payments, while 3,000 more are on the payroll but yet to be paid. An additional 3,500 are currently being processed, bringing the total number of affected health workers to 13,500. Mr. Kando, however, assured that government remains committed to addressing the issue to ease the financial hardship faced by the affected staff.
We had to onboard them gradually, because you agree with me that we also have a country to govern. Ladies and gentlemen, as I speak to you now, that about 6,500, that will add up to the 7,000 already being paid, making 13,500. That's allowance, that's over 6,000. Cabinet has approved that with immediate effect, starting from November, the Minister for Finance must pay them. And I have in my hand the letter to that effect. And so these were the difficulties. I empathize with anybody who had to go through this painful situation. And it is important for Ghanaians to be taken along.
Now, the minister also touched on concerns raised by the Junior Doctors Association, which recently disclosed that over 200 junior doctors have been owed salary arrears for between 10 and 14 months. He addressed these concerns, noting that measures are underway to ensure prompt payments to the doctors as well.
We had health professionals who had completed their housemanship, and some of them doing their housemanship without clearance in 2024. So we successfully collaborated with the Ministry of Finance to get about 883 of these officers getting clearance so that they can get their allowances. You recently heard some junior doctors threatening to go on strike. They have started work without clearance, without salaries, without pay. Again, we collaborated with the Ministry of Finance, and as I speak to you now, we have succeeded in getting them clearance, and they are being migrated onto the payroll. We had about 800 medical doctors who had finished their housemanship, but they were still at home without clearance. As I speak to you now, the Ministry of Finance has issued clearance, and all these medical doctors are going to start work with immediate effect.
A major enforcement operation is underway in the Ashanti region as the Health Facilities Regulatory Agency, HEFRA, launches a large-scale crackdown on unlicensed and non-compliant health facilities. The exercise, which began earlier this morning, is targeting over 200 clinics, laboratories, maternity homes, and other healthcare centers operating without the necessary authorization from the regulatory body. According to HEFRA officials, the operation is part of a nationwide effort to ensure that all health facilities meet the required operational and safety standards. We'll take you live to Kumasi shortly, but first, listen to HEFRA's Public Relations Officer, Christabel Ayiram. Well, let's go on phone and via Zoom actually and engage my colleague Nana Boachi Yadom before we see if we can bring you that. But Nana, tell me, how has the exercise been so far, or the operation I should say? Has it started, and since it started, how has it been so far?
The operation has been a success today in the Ashanti region. We're expecting over 200 health facilities to be closed down or shut down in the Ashanti region, as indicated by the HEFRA PRO. It's going to be a week-long activity which started this morning. So far, we've had 3 facilities closed down by HEFRA authorities and the task force led by the police. One eye clinic around the Fort Garrison area, Edum, has been shut down. And now we are inside Guinness, Ghana. We are told that a facility is operating inside Guinness, Ghana, and it is going to be checked. Their licenses are going to be checked. If they do not have the license, HEFRA would then have to move and then shut it down. There was a little bit of confrontation and delay made by the authorities because they were not allowing the HEFRA task force to enter. But then as I speak to you, they've made their way in by force and they are going to check the facility. But then I still have the HEFRA PRO here with me, Christabel Ayiram, to interact with me shortly. Chris, the operation started smoothly from the 3 places, and here seems tough.
Yes, it seems tough, but then we are up to the task. We are up to the task because we are very determined. Any facility operating in Ghana must be licensed by HEFRA once you are rendering health services. So you saw what happened over there, but because we are determined, we still broke our way, we entered, and we are going there. It is either you show us your license or we are closing down the facility. We understand that because this is a big company, there are some protocols that we may have to follow, but we also wanted them to understand that this is a regulatory body. So, and we can barge in at any time because we do announced inspections. Some of the monitorings that we do are unannounced. We don't have to inform you that we are coming. So once we come and we have shown you our ID cards, we have come with the police, you have seen that we are officials from the health, from HEFRA. I think that you would have to let us in. So to actually prevent us from entering, I think it wasn't right on their part. Thank God we are in now. So we are now going to the facility. So the Health Facilities Regulatory Agency, we are determined. No matter how big you are, you just have to do the right thing. So when we go in there, it's your license or we are closing you down.
And we are expecting over 200 health facilities, just as you indicated to me earlier, to be shut down in the Ashanti region alone. This raises concern about public health.
Well, in the Ashanti region, we have, you see, we would be lucky, per the data that we have over 200 facilities operating without licenses. So it's not going to be a one-day exercise because, like I explained earlier, because of the public advocacy and the public announcement that we are doing, some are coming. As we speak, I think some people have trooped to our offices and then they are doing the right thing. They are paying for inspection, and then there is a team on standby going to inspect their facilities. So it could be that by the time we are done with this exercise, maybe this week, the numbers may reduce because a number of them would go, and because they've heard what we are doing, they would go and then kick in the process. And for us, my boss has actually set up a special team. So once you go there and then you register, you bring all your requirements, we are ready to inspect your facility immediately. And once we inspect the facility and we know that the facility is actually doing the right thing and has met the standards, why not? You'll be giving your license. We don't take pleasure in locking down facilities, not at all. But then the right thing has to be done.
The concern being raised by some people is that most of the times there are patients in some of these facilities, like the one we visited at Konfanoche. What happens to these patients who are coming to seek health care?
Okay, so when we go into a facility and then there are patients that need to be referred, immediately we bring in the ambulance. So we have made all those arrangements are in place. We bring in the ambulance to transfer the patients to a different facility that is licensed, where maybe the people don't have to be referred. It's not very critical. Then just like we did at the other facility, we inform them that whatever we are doing is in their interest, for which reason they would have to vacate for us to lock the facility.
Thank you very much. And that is Christabel Ariam. She is the public relations officer for HEFRA. But the facility itself that is being locked at the premises of Guinness Ghana is right behind me, and that is where we are walking towards. The police task force and then the HEFRA task force are all moving to that direction. We're being told that, as of now, they've confirmed that the facility hasn't registered with HEFRA. The authorities at the Guinness Ghana Kumasi branch insisted earlier on that they had to speak to their legal team before they would allow the HEFRA task force to enter. But then the regulatory body resisted that and barged in and came in with force to inspect the facility. And so this is the facility you see there with the HEFRA task force and then the police, all of them gathered over here. We also have possibly the authorities of Guinness also in here. This is the ward. This is a facility that takes care of patients who come in to seek healthcare. We've been told that it's both for public and then for staff who operate here, and HEFRA would be doing a massive crackdown of this facility. So far, 3 facilities have been shut. This adds up to be facility number 4. The regulatory agency says that it is bent on shutting down all these facilities if they do not have licenses or if they are not regulated or registered with HEFRA. And so this is and the indication that we have is that you're saying since 2019?
Expired since 2019. Yes.
Since 2019. For the past 6 years. So for 6 years now, we're being told that this facility here at Guinness Ghana has not been having their license. They've not renewed their license, and that is the confirmation that we have right now. And this is the facility that we have here inside Guinness Ghana. And so this is what is happening in the Ashanti region. MFA, HEFRA have moved into the premises of Guinness Ghana, and now we're going to have the facility locked. We have to move out for the facility to be locked. So you see the padlock belonging to HEFRA that would be used to lock the facility, so they would not be able to operate. So that is the operation that is happening, locking the health facility at the premises of Guinness Ghana in the Ashanti region for not renewing their licenses since 2019. 6 years now. So this is part of the operation by HEFRA in the Ashanti region. MFA.
Thank you so much for bringing us that update. So 200 health facilities, you say, 3 already shut down, 1 still in the process. We have about 196 more to go. You want to stay with us? Nana Bwachi will bring us all of that details from the Ashanti region. But away from that, Vice President Professor Nana Jane-Opoku-Agyeman has issued a powerful declaration of war on illegal mining known as Galamsey, revealing that government is drafting a landmark legislation to completely outlaw mining in Ghana's water bodies and forest reserves. Speaking to the Ghanaian community in Belgium during the Global Gateway Forum in Brussels, Professor Opoku-Agyeman noted that illegal mining has become a national catastrophe, eroding the very foundation of our existence. She explained that the new law will eliminate existing loopholes that allow mining in protected areas.
We are working towards banning mining in water bodies. We've been mining gold forever. How come all of a sudden all our waters were polluted? The water sources are normally in our reserve portions. And that's the reason why those areas are reserved forests. Now, when you give that to some who can even will it to his family, you all know what I'm talking about. So it becomes a family property. How do you stop that water, that source, from polluting the many rivers, from the source to many areas? A bill is being prepared to reverse what we saw and to ensure that the people are moved out of these areas and properly placed.
Let's go on phone and get some reaction on this from Aula Sewa. She's Director of Eco-Conscious Ghana. And thank you for joining us this afternoon. So this is one of the things you've been calling for aside the state of emergency. Is this enough to end the menace?
Well, what we would say is that what is required to end the menace is the political will to do so. All we need is the political will. We have sufficient laws in place which we can use, enforce, and we can arrest the environmental terrorists if we want to do so. Yes, there might be instances where you want to strengthen the law, but as we stand now, there is no law which permits mining in water bodies. So if we want to deal with all the environmental terrorists who have diverted our water bodies like the Ancombra, all the concerns on our water bodies, we can do so immediately. I believe the head of the EPA has said that if he was given the necessary resources, she could deal with it.
Right.
So let's focus on the catastrophe that we are facing. Let's get all the resources at our disposal and deal with it. As far as I'm concerned, what is really needed is the political will. That is all we need, the political will. We have sufficient laws to deal with the menace.
Right. Thank you so much for joining us on the news today as well. Still on illegal mining, there is some relief for residents of the central region as the Konyako water treatment plant has been partially reopened after months of shutdown. The plant was closed on the directive of the Central Regional Minister, Ekopengin Idwamwa-Ochre, after Ghana Water Limited reported that intake pumps at the headworks had broken down due to heavy silt accumulation caused by illegal mining activities. Now, let's engage the Central Regional Minister, Ekopengin Idwamwa-Ochre, on this. Now, thank you for joining us this afternoon. Tell us, how did this happen? Partial, but really, how did this happen?
Thanks so much, and I want to greet your cherished listeners. So we brought in some interim measures to ensure that we work towards getting, proper water. And so after the shutdown, we were managing various water bodies that we couldn't have for. But then at the next week was also still at where
if you can just reposition yourself so we can hear you clearly.
Hello.
Yes, quite clear in your hello. Please
proceed. Is it better now?
Yes.
Yeah. So I was saying that after we had seen the interim measures through the system in order to find a makeup solution to the problem, we had to deal with the of the people. What as a clearing those who are both menace affected. By God's grace, even though we were they are selling protect activity, which is routine method, we have to go ahead, put space from the water, and that be able get quality of water, which would then be very easy for us to see. And so 2 weeks ago, they made an attempt to treating, and they first then put up, which is what they are having a temporary measure of production. As I speak with you, if you came to Central, Cotton, and the Enclave, they are all having pipe-on water.
Are you going to repeat the same process to at least get finality to the Konyako water treatment?
As long as technical indicators show that that is feasible, we will do that. But what we are saying is that in order not to, waste the little water we have, we need to manage the water we are receiving now. Those who are using it for, irrigation and other purposes may have to do us a favor by stopping. As we've said, it's an interim measure. An interim measure, there are things that we are considering in order to get the full stream of production. We thank God. We want to thank God. I think I should thank God as a regional minister to give us the big 2 rains which clear the debris up. And I think that if that continues and we do the routine maintenance, we will find a headway. In fact, what has delayed the routine maintenance, which includes the system, is the fact that we have only one equipment, one machine that does that. And as we speak to you, it's far away in the north. Until that work up there is done, we are unable to do that. And so
and that machine is being used for the same purpose in the north?
A similar purpose, I don't know, but it was also doing the certain up north.
Right. So at the moment, one of your biggest prayers and wishes to have rain.
Yeah. So the success we are talking, maybe 60% from the rain, and then remember that they had to clear them. They had to clear the galamsey from the side because they have blocked the water. So once they are not there, we needed rain to clear what they had done already. And by God, it's gotten that. And then if you also look at the levels of water, the water level has gone up to the extent that, drawing raw material, raw water will not be affected by the mud beneath.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us on the news today.
You're welcome.
Away from that, the Energy Commission has uncovered an emerging trend of local electrical appliance vendors falsifying energy efficient star rating on their imported goods. Now, the Energy Consumption Regulator reviews individuals apprehended for the illegal act were found to apply permanent ink on the star rating labels of appliances such as fridges, air conditioners and television sets to depict them as energy efficient. Senior Manager Public Affairs at the Commission, Samuel Frimpong, spoke on the sidelines of a one-day training workshop on energy efficiency and conservation for journalists in the Ashanti region.
Who patronize the more star-rated appliances, and for those the charlatans, the people who want to cheat the system, they have realized that the more star-rated appliances have a lot of markets. So they now use markers to shade the stars to shortchange people. So, for instance, an appliance may be a one-star appliance, but then the dealers, some of the dealers will shade more stars, making it 4 stars. But what they don't know is that there's a feature, under the arc, you will see a corresponding star with a figure in it. So if it is a 1-star rated, then in the star you see a figure 1. So if you shade 4 stars and then we have a figure 1 corresponding, it means you are cheating the system. The market surveillance team goes round into shops and they see that kind of cheating. They caution them. They make sure that they remove that appliance from the floor and then go for relabeling, and then they pay penalty for that.
Okay, so how many cases have you recorded so far? How rampant is this situation?
You don't get it often, but this is how people use to cheat the system. And these things, you don't find them in the urban areas. People hide them in remote areas to cheat the system.
You're watching News Today, and in World Today, 42 Zimbabwean and Malawi nationals have died after a bus taking them home overturned on a South African road, authorities have said. The crash happened on Sunday night as the bus was moving through a mountainous section of the N1 highway in South Africa's Limpopo province, local transport officials said. The South African president has mourned the high death toll, which includes 7 children, and said it was not only a tragedy for the country, but for the sister states of Zimbabwe and Malawi. The cause of the accident is unknown, but an investigation has been launched. Please stay for some business updates.
Welcome back to Business here on JoyNews Today. My name is Winston Taki, and out of first business story. Ghana's gold industry continues to shine as rising production boosts the country's reserves and supports the stability of the city. However, tax analyst Fred Awuti is urging strict enforcement of the withholding tax on domestic gold trading and a cleanup of the small-scale mining sector to maximize revenue. Gold remains an attractive investment during periods of political and economic uncertainty. Globally, about half of gold consumption goes into jewelry, 40% into investment, and the remaining 10% into industry. In Ghana, the sector has recently experienced a significant boost, contributing to an increase in the country's gold reserves and supporting the stability of the city. Speaking on a webinar organized under the auspices of EM Tax Advisors, tax analyst Fred Awuti underscored the need for effective enforcement of the withholding tax in domestic gold trading.
Gold is goods in its nature, and it's not a currency also. So as it is now, if you buy the gold, which is not a trading stock for one of the persons, when you look at the law, it says that where there is the trading is a trading material or trading stock, then there will not be any withholding tax. It's exempted. But if a small scale miner who is selling the gold, which is a trading stock for him, by the selling to somebody who is not going to sell again, then that person who is making the payment must withhold the tax, and the rate will be 3%. All right.
Mr. Awuche further called for the sanitization of the small-scale mining sector to improve compliance.
In respect of Bank of Ghana selling gold bar, if you buy the gold bar from them and then you are not be selling it back, there will be some withholding tax implication in that regard. So in that case, there's no law for now that exempts it. Possibly government has to take steps to see how they can sanitize this area also in respect of the small-scale mining, and also the government of Ghana issues on gold bar, particularly the Bank of Ghana. Then also, but if you look at the gold board also, you will notice that gold board, there are different classification of the buyers. You have aggregators. So these aggregators, when they buy the gold, that will constitute a trading stock for them. So in that case, there may not be withholding tax within that value chain. But those who may not fall within that category, that is what the challenge will be. Because for now, if you're not a registered person before Lancet, you go board.
Away from that, the Fashion Designers Association of Ghana has expressed concern over the persistent influx of imported footwear on the local market, citing adverse impact of Ghanaian producers. National President of the association, Isaac Mensah, says despite the local producers making shoes and slippers of high quality, unbridled competition with foreign products threatens their survival of small-scale producers.
National Apprenticeship Program is fast emerging as a beacon of hope for Ghana's youth, offering thousands of young people the opportunity to acquire practical skills and become self-reliant. The initiative, which forms part of the government's strategy to tackle unemployment, has drawn strong support for professional bodies including fashion designers. Speaking at the launch of the Fashion Designers Association of Ghana, President of the group, Isaac Mensah, highlighted the impact of the growing influx of foreign-produced footwear.
The intention is to build capacity of our members. You see, the standard when you come into our trade, because of the way we go into the apprenticeship training, the masterclass people, those who train the trainees, because they don't have the professional know-how, so they train them according to what they know. We have set up a team and we have a manual that we use to train our members, so that the members we have trained can use the knowledge they have to train the apprentices. As we are building capacity, we need a lot of equipment. We need equipment. It's one of our challenges.
The launch of the association assembled local designers and artisans. Ashanti Regional Coordinator of the National Apprenticeship Program, Patrick Opoku, says the situation is also a major concern for the government as cheap imported shoes continue to dominate the local market. He assured of strategic measures to curb the influx of foreign footwear and promote local production.
They are doing their best to produce artifacts. They are doing their best to produce sandals, slippers, shoes. But their problem is that many people import shoes and sandals from China, and they are somehow cheaper because it's coming from China. So it's affecting their businesses or their company. So I promised I'm going to inform the regional minister, who intend to take to the trade minister to work on how to stop that, so that local products or local goods can be promoted. And then I take this opportunity to urge the youth to take part in the National Apprenticeship Program because it comes with so many benefits.
Stephanie Frimpon's report read to you.
That's all for business. Up next is sports.
Hello and welcome to the sports segment with me, Benaya Elom Dapramapo. Black Stars head coach Otuado has made history by leading to a second straight FIFA World Cup qualifiers. Now, my colleague Adamu Karim Beni was at the Accra Sports Stadium yesterday to witness the moment and brings us this report.
In the end, the performance didn't match the party atmosphere that was created before the game, but the Black Stars got the job done in the second half, and Ghana will be heading to the World Cup for the 5th time, and Ghana being the only African country to qualify for 5 out of the last 6 World Cups. After a lackluster first half, where the Black Stars failed to trouble the Comoros goalkeeper, Ghana finally broke the deadlock 2 minutes after the restart. Mohamed Kudus tapped in Thomas Partey's cross from close range for his second of the World Cup qualifying campaign. Ghana only needed a point to qualify, but their place was virtually secured even before kickoff. They would have missed out only if they lost to Comoros, and Madagascar beat Mali by enough to overturn an 8-goal difference. Comoros had the best chance of the first half when Benjalud Yusuf headed wide with the goal at his mercy. That was as close as they came, as Ghana sealed qualification with 25 points from a possible 30. The tension inside a packed Accra Sports Stadium eased when news came through that Mali were leading and eventually beat Madagascar 4-1 in the other Group I match. Speaking after the game, Coach Otuado spent over 10 minutes thanking everyone who contributed to Ghana's World Cup qualification, including men of God.
So, first of all, I'd like to surely thank the Almighty God for guiding and protecting us. No, it's not about me, it's us. Always us. When we win, it's us. When we lose, it's us. For giving us blessing, for blessing this nation to qualify again for the World Cup. Thanks surely to His Excellency the President Mahama for visiting us, for supporting us throughout. Also thanks for the former President Akufo-Addo and the Sports Minister Honorable Mustafa Yusuf for supporting us. Thanks for Honorable Sports Minister Adams, Kofi Adams, and all the ministers who came each and every training to visit us, to support us, to push up.
For Addo, qualification helps make up for the disappointment of missing the upcoming AFCON. He attributed the team's turnaround to a focused campaign free of distractions.
To say it very, very simple, we scored more goals because I don't want to go through all the matches, but we had always a lot of chances. Not in all the games, but in most of the games, we were more matured. We were more clinical in our finishes. And still, even those games now, we could have done we scored even more. You know, so I think seems like also the player, and sometimes things take time. They adapted, and there were I think less distractions also about discussions about whatever, who is captain or number is wearing me. I don't care about these things, So, but I know it's a big thing here. So,
for the fans, all that mattered was qualification.
Yeah, I'm feeling super excited because it wasn't an easy journey. You see, I couldn't qualify for the AFCON, so there was a lot of pressure on Otuado, and I delivered.
It's amazing. It's amazing. We thank God that since they won, you can realize that everybody had a good feeling to support the Blasters.
Otuado, if you are watching me, you are doing an amazing job, but I think there's more room for improvement. You have to go back to the drawing board and then make sure that you actually deliver what Ghanaians are expecting from you.
But there was so much excitement, a lot of music during the halftime break and after the game, and people enjoyed themselves, though they didn't get the goals they wanted.
And that's it for the sports segment with me, Benaya Elom Dapamapo. For more stories, you can log on to myjoyonline.com. Up next is Showbiz with Shola Adeyem.
Well, it's time now for Showbiz. I am Lois Shalademi. Let's get into our Showbiz story. Now, at Sogakope Senior High School, creativity has found its new life. Just 3 years ago, the school's art club was nearly forgotten, its easels gathering dust and its students left without a space to express themselves. Then one teacher stepped in to revive it, turning brushes, color, and imagination into a movement of hope. Today, his students paint under the open sky, transforming the school garden into their open-air studio, a place where they learn, they create, and tell their stories through art. From broken materials, they craft beauty. From simple spaces, they dream boldly. And one day, having a real studio to call their own. There's more in this report.
At Sogakope Senior High School, a once quiet school garden has been transformed into a studio without walls. Here, students gather after class to paint, sculpt, and create.
So we're here at Sogakope Senior High School, where we have said countless times that there are so many children or students who are gifted, talented, and they show it in diverse ways. We've seen pots, we've seen instruments, all made by these students here. And you can also see these paintings. They tell stories. You can see celebrities, people that inspire these children, and hopefully they get to meet that. But we as Ghanaians have to pump most of our resources into them because they are the future. They are the future of creative art. They are creative and they're ready to change the world one stroke, one sketch, one paint, one sculpture at a time.
With limited space and few materials, they make the most of what they have, turning scarcity into beauty.
My name is Avagbeda Precious, and my friend drawing there's name is Dabijo Bismarck. What he's drawing, he started it a week ago. He has many other drawings, but this particular one, he loves it and he doesn't want anyone to destroy it. So I asked him why. And he told me he's from the Oti region. So where he's from is difficult for them to get food. But the person is drawing, Jejom, is always happy. Even though he doesn't get food, always is happy all the time. And that is why he loves this particular picture.
For them, every stroke tells a story about their community, dreams, and the world they hope to change.
I'm into fashion, home economics department. I do this with as a combination with my dress when it's time for catwalk. When I sew, I can do a bag, I can bead in it. With my slippers, it's not always that you have to wear heels for modeling. You can use your beadwork. It's also a fashion that you can add it to your garments.
Right now, the garden is a creative home. But the dream is to have a proper art studio, a space where the ideas can grow freely.
One of our major challenges is a studio.
Okay.
We don't have a studio.
Yeah.
So when you go around the campus, this is the only place we find receptive. So we come here to do our work here. We don't have a studio, we need studios badly. And we don't have enough tools to work with. For example, these students are carving, but we don't have carving tools. So
they need a place where they can leave their work safely, come back and continue. From the ashes of a forgotten club to a thriving creative family, the young artists of Sogakope Senior High School are painting hope, one brush stroke at a time.
Well, and that's all for Showbiz. I am Lois Shalademi. Over to you, MFA Akosiadeti.
Thank you so much, Shala, and thank you for putting the spotlight in my hometown. Well, that'll be all for the news today. I'm MFA Akosiadeti. For more news, do log on to myjoyonline.com. Thank you for watching. Well, and thank you for watching the news.